Mustafi. Bellerin! Brilliant! 2-2! Hector Bellerin, Hector Bellerin.
Hello and welcome to the Sports Talk Line saved by the Bellerin watch along, which Arsenal versus Molde. We're just about to kick off here. I'm Sam, going to be your temporary host until we get our more permanent one, Raf back in the hot seat. So we'll go through the Arsenal lineup, which we had a surprising entrant at centre back. So we have got. Sorry, bear with me 2 seconds. We have Leno in goal, David Luiz, Mustafi, Granit Xhaka as the back three. We've got Maitland-Niles as the 4-3-3 wing back. On the right, we have Kolasinac as the wing back on the left. By looks of things, it is Dani Ceballos and Joe Willock in the middle of the park, with Willian out on the left, Pepe out on the right, and Eddie Nketiah up top. So, by the looks of things, Raf has now entered the room.
How is everybody?
Not too bad, sir. How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Good.
How strong? I just heard you walking through. How strong a lineup, by your estimation, is the manager fielding today?
Yeah, fairly strong. Bit surprised to see Granit Xhaka as the third centre back.
Interesting.
But yeah, seems like we're looking to get this group sewn up so we can potentially field some kids in the later games.
Put to bed, eh? Let's see here. Now, with all of it's funny how we don't do any things incrementally in the Arsenal fan base. Everything is kind of all or nothing. And suddenly, as you were talking about Granit Xhaka being a center back, people want to. So suddenly he has gone from being, the most vital piece of the midfield in the run-in last year to disposable, and it's kind of with no stop in between. I mean, it is interesting that he's been used as a center back, but part of that is, the injury bugs still will not let up on the Arsenal back line.
No, and it's something that I think realistically Arsenal need to sort out, because just before the game we had news of Reece Nelson having an injury, Emil Smith-Rowe having an injury as well. So I don't know what it is, whether it's training methods or what, but something needs to be sorted. But was
this in the week or in the pre-game?
It was about an hour before lineups were announced, and news of them two new injuries.
Oh, I'm behind you, but that wasn't a bad opportunity.
No, very interesting position there by Willock to have the cross in for Eddie up top. And I think it's a big chance for Eddie today to potentially solidify a chance for the weekend to be in that striking role.
Mm-hmm. In addition to as many skills as a manager, our manager is a closed force. I just saw him flashed on the screen. He could have his own line, I think.
Yeah. And did you see today Arsenal are trying to pump the pockets for the Xmas sales?
I saw that and I thought, you already have your hands in my pocket. I ordered my son one of the pre-match tops because his birthday is on Saturday, and I just thought it came in the mail, and I saw that this morning. And I thought, I just gave you money.
Yeah.
Again.
Unlucky there by Eddie.
They are. I mean, we have to give it to them. They're Adidas. They're mean to us. I say that with all due respect, but my God.
I know. And you know what took my eye today is the jacket version of the green top.
Oh my!
And I saw that.
I'm thinking of the green, and I just saw Eddie's miss. So yes, he could have two already. This is promising.
Where am I at? I'm at 5 minutes in now. So
You're 5. I'm at. They're not showing me a clock. They're showing me a replay, so they take it away. Let's see. I'm guessing you're 40 seconds ahead of me. I'm at 4:48.
okay. But I think that green jacket might be on the old Christmas list. Interesting that Ceballos is being the deeper of the two midfielders.
He was, the last time he and Xhaka were the midfield too, I noticed that a lot too, that he was the deeper line of the two, and you'd expect them to be reversed, but I forget which it was. I think in the Leicester City match, that was a lot. That was how they deployed quite a bit.
Okay, so when we're attacking, it seems that Xhaka's then coming into the middle of midfield with Willock pushing on and Ceballos also pushing on. Because obviously, when we're defending, we're in a 3-4-3. But when we're attacking, I'm just not sure what formation we're getting into.
And again, it doesn't really seem to matter who he puts out there. They're very left-handed. Even with this lineup, it seems they're pushing really hard up the left right now.
Yeah. I think. I mean, with that, it baffles me a little bit because we've got someone as skillful as Nicola Pepe out on the right-hand side. Surely you'd want to utilise him a bit more and get him one-on-one with the fullback so he can either go down the line or cut in.
Well, they have Niles on the wing on his side, correct, today? Looks like that. So, I mean, he played well at the end of last year playing on the wing, but he was on the left-hand side, as I recall. And that seems to be a real problem right now. Not just that Pepe isn't getting consistent minutes, is that he hasn't really established a rapport with Hector or anybody else on that side.
No, I'd say with Hector, he's got a bit more of a rapport this year, but again, it's the inconsistent minutes that he's getting. You can't expect him to produce his best if you're playing him 60 minutes one game, then bringing him off, and then bringing him on in the next 4 half hour to 15 minutes within the game. You just can't expect a 72 million signing to be consistent in that aspect. And
yeah, I agree. I mean, I am consistently looking for him in the lineup chair, and I'm just really puzzled that he hasn't played more. And I don't know what that comes down to. It's not conditioning, clearly.
I suppose it might be Arteta and his non-negotiables on the training ground, but not sure. But as you say, it's just a bit baffling.
I haven't heard any reports that he's nursing an injury.
No. And Arteta's clearly a fan of him, because when he speaks about him in glowing terms. It's just something I don't know.
There's something about this system that he still hasn't clicked for him. I'm wondering.
Yeah, I believe that could be the case.
It's just it's a fit, and he seems confident that he's going to get there, but he's not there yet, and he's not consistent in doing what Mikel wants him to do. Maybe, I don't know. He was a real freelancer of a player when he was at Lille, and he had, we've talked about, a lot of freedom, and I'm wondering if he's still a little bit of a. And this sounds terrible. It's kind of like to break him a little bit, kind of make him fit more of a system.
Yeah,
I could be wrong about that, but I'm not sure.
Well, by all means, it's a possibility. Definitely a possibility. But he's had a little bit of a spell with the ball down the right hand side over the last couple of minutes, which he's trying to cut in. But it seems that with Molde, they're going to be very congested, and it goes back to what we were saying on the pod, that Arteta really needs to find a solution to a low block.
Mm-hmm.
But again, going back to the Man United game, and with this one, it looks like we're trying to employ a high four as the press.
Yeah, and it worked then, and it seemed to work right there when he didn't do it straight away, but they're clearly getting more bold with this press in the last few minutes.
So I think if we put this Molde back four under pressure, I don't see them having the ability to play out. They'll make lots of mistakes, I believe. But then again, can't take these too lightly, because they've been together for quite a while and they're an experienced team. But there's a nice bit of play there between Maitland-Niles and Pepe. Just unfortunate. The cross on Pepe's wrong foot. But if you watch this break here as well, with Kolasinac playing up high, if they cheat behind him a little bit, he hasn't got the pace to be catching up with players, and he really struggled there, and he just basically allowed them a free cross, which to me that would be an early worry. Just looking at Molde's lineup, by the looks of things, what I've got in front of me here, they're employing a 4-2-3-1, and their striker, number 99. Who has number 99 nowadays on their shirts? Come on, guy. Oh, Jesus, can't even pronounce his name. Omo Juanfo. Apparently, he's their most dangerous guy. Big target man, nice nimble feet. So far this year, 21 appearances, 7 goals, 3 assists.
Oh, cool. Let's get to him. I need to pull it up. I don't even have YouTube up. Let's do it. Are we still in Save by the Bellerin league? Ah. Okay.
That was great bit of play there by Leno. What is this referee doing? Come on, guy, I want to get on with the game, not be watching you faff around with your piece of technology. Oh, excuse me. Oh, Kolasinac, what are you doing? I don't understand how he can see a ball coming to him, duck out the way of it, and then on the backwards turn, then head it. Why not just attack it the first time? Very lucky to get a foul there.
Okay, and I'm back. The dreaded technical difficulties, but I think they've been sorted out.
All right.
Yes, there is a lot of congestion there, Sam.
Yeah, and it seems. I don't know whether it's not helping, but when our centre backs are really pushing up, it's making the pitch really small. I think we need them to just take a few yards back just to give that bit of open space, because it looks like Molde aren't coming up the pitch. They're literally bringing everybody back.
That's one way to try to relieve pressure and get Pepe over the top.
Mm. But it looks like Molde as well. They've they've done their homework on us because they're bringing their wide players into the very wide areas of the pitch, because where we try to overload, it looks like the winger's already there. But again, it's a bit of a slow start, isn't it? In the first 20 odd minutes.
Yeah, they were good for about 5, and then it's been really sluggish since then. And I'm a little surprised they pressed them for a little bit, had some success, and now they've kind of backed off on that. They're only picking it up around the halfway line. They're not pushing as high as they were 10 minutes ago. But as you said, they were caught out a couple of times, especially up Kolasinac's side. So maybe they're just playing a little safer there.
Oh my life. And it just happened again, and we've been majorly caught out there. Majorly caught out. The ball into the winger, in behind Kolasinac. Kolasinac nowhere near him. On the turn, takes 2 touches out of his feet, rifles the ball home from about 20, 25 yards.
Acres of space there.
Oy. That is unacceptable defending. That is unacceptable. If we're going to have Xhaka come out defence but into midfield, he's got to realistically stay in the left-hand pockets. You cannot afford to lose the ball from a long ball up to the striker, because let's be honest, Eddie isn't the tallest of people. He's going to lose some of the majority of the headers.
Oof.
And for two, maybe 3 passes for that to happen, have Kolasinac nowhere near the fella.
No, he was way too far up the pitch. But he's been doing that all match.
Yeah, and here he is again. He's high and wide. Good Lord, what is that all about? But again, it's another Europa League game. Second string, caught cold. And this is the thing, where we're pressing them now, they don't need to come out. Now they've got that goal lead.
No, their block will get thicker.
Mm-hmm. And it just seems we're a bit bereft of ideas of what to do at the moment because we're just not making any indents or doing anything to try and get past this block. We're just passing right in front of them, trying to go down one side, not really working, holding on to the ball. The ball play is too slow. It's too slow. Because if you look at how we played against Man United with Thomas Partey, the dynamicism that he had and Elneny had in the middle of midfield, and if you're looking at Willock and Ceballos and potentially throwing Xhaka in there now because he seemingly stepped up the pitch, it's all sideways passing. It's very slow.
Yeah, they're not getting any service into the. Well, of course, there's a lot of bodies in there. It's very hard to reach those guys in the middle. Willian and. But you're right. Everything's just working around the outside, and Xhaka there in his forward position. That's probably not the guy you want out there in that position to make the incisive pass. That's not his game.
I've seen replay of that goal. It's a very good goal. Very good goal. Very well placed, but not a chance in hell we should be allowing him to have a shot there.
That was just one pass, really.
Yeah.
There wasn't anybody within 10 yards of it.
But this is the thing with us, we should not be making these games a lot harder for ourselves than what we're doing. Should try and dispatch this game within the first half. But we just look, I don't know, we just look very lethargic on and off the ball.
I think that's been a problem for them, not just in this match, not just in this competition, but really just, I think this entire season, is they're slow starters. And I'm a little baffled by that, given the talent that they have. I mean, we've talked about balance and yeah, there are issues and finding the lineup, but it seems that they come out, either they hit you for the first 5 minutes really hard, maybe 10, and then the first halves are so sluggish.
Yeah, completely agree. And this is a game where you don't really want to be bringing on Aubameyang or, I know I've had my issues with him this season, Lacazette, but it just, I don't know, like even just passing in and around the back, it's sloppy.
Right now, yes. Can't even get out their own half.
No.
Shouldn't be that difficult.
And even when we get down the side of them, the balls to pick people out is terrible. So sloppy. You'll see here, William gets down the side. He tries to pick out Eddie Nketiah. You don't need to pick him out there. You just need to roll it in front of him so he can come onto it, surely.
He pulled it back. I don't know. He wasn't. That didn't look like it was for him. It was to I think Willock was trailing because that was behind him. Either that or it was a terrible pass.
But again, a lot of this passing is just in front of them on the edge of the area. Nobody's really making any movement.
Ooh, just too hot. Not a bad idea by Ceballos, but as you said, all these last passes, and it's been everybody, they're just not on target.
No. Early signals that a change at half time might be happening because the Lacazette's already warming up. But again, it's another game where Willian has shown absolutely nothing.
It's just my question is like, who's disappointed you so far? I mean, there could be multiple answers to that question.
Yeah,
I think the energy levels of it is the puzzler.
But again, it's the energy levels. We haven't got the people in the side at the moment that give the team energy. Like you've got people like Nicolas Pepe. He can only do so much. Willock, he's usually full of running and full of dynamicism, but again, he's playing up against that back four and getting nothing really.
Is this part, Sam, what we talked about, the imbalance where you said here's Pepe, right? We know Willock can run a little bit, we know, but Ceballos is not the fastest guy. Xhaka's not the fastest guy. Kolasinac's not the fastest guy. It's like they've got a mismatch in terms of, some guys can run and not everybody can run with them.
Yeah. And this is the thing. You need hard runners in that middle of midfield that are able to go box to box, and we simply haven't got that. We've got Xhaka that he's not going to go box to box. Willock can do, but he's playing right up against their back four. And then you've got
Ceballos again. He's very deep. It's almost like right now that the forward job is being entrusted to Willian.
I think to Willock, because Willian's out on the left wing there, but I think with Ceballos, he needs to show a bit more for me, because I can understand why he's being left out of games. He just hasn't produced so far.
Mm-hmm.
And it begs the question, if he continues this type of performance, do you approach Real Madrid and ask to sign him? Or do you...
Oh, Ceballos?
Yeah.
I don't know. We talked about this on the pod, and I would have said yes, certainly. But it seems that as Partey and these new additions have come in, I thought that would give him more freedom, and I'm seeing the opposite. He seems to be less visible and playing deeper, and that's not what I don't think anybody thought that that's what Dani Ceballos was here to do.
No. But if it is a case of instruction for Ceballos playing deep, you've got to question Mikel to say what's the deal with that, because you look at him the back end of last season and he was that box to box midfielder and he'd done very well, but him sitting deep, I don't know.
Yeah, I think that the Liverpool match was the last time where we saw him in that in that role we thought he would be playing. He kept feeding Lacazette. Now, the end product wasn't so great, but he came on in about the 60th minute and really started to unlock them. And we're not seeing that. And yeah, I scratch my head about that, because I'm assuming that's what he's here for. Certainly, while we're all looking at the lineup and we're looking out at Europe and saying, well, what about Aouar or what about that? In the meantime, given the people that we have, I would think that's going to be Dani Ceballos' role. And it's not.
You'd think so, but yeah, don't know, it's just not happening. But I think, has the question got to be asked about Pepe as well? He shows glimpses, but he's not showing it consistently. I'm not saying in January, potentially in the summer, do you cut your losses and move on?
Well, if you did, okay, let's just entertain the question. Who are you looking for? What kind of player are you looking for? What kind of player should he be to fit this system?
I wouldn't be looking for a left footer playing on the right. I'd want a right footer that's able to get down the line, but also got the ability to cut inside and be effective. I know it'd never happen, but I'd explore the homecoming of Serge Gnabry. It'd be expensive.
Is that something that would be ever entertained? I mean, he seems to really, he's in his element right now at Bayern.
Yeah. It's the thing, because obviously where Bayern are winning everything, it's whether he wants to present himself a new challenge.
That is true. If you're playing for them right now, it's like, what's left?
Because they've done Champions Leagues, they've done the league, the Bundesliga Super Cup, done it all.
Yeah. We have a Nepali follower in the chat. Welcome. We're all looking for a little more juice. Yeah, and I can see that he's got speed, he's got power. So let's stick with this, because it's, again, the manager certainly doesn't sound like he's anywhere near making that kind of decision, but that was Emery's buy, and seeing what you've seen of what he's trying to do with the club, would he have bought Nicola Pepe if he were the manager a year ago, in your opinion?
It's tough to say, really, because obviously you've got there's multiple factors with this. You've got to factor in what type of system that he's going to play, whether or not you've got the players available to play that, whether the existing players have got the ability to fit into that formation. I think for the amount of money that Arsenal spent, put it this way, I don't think Nicola Pepe a year ago would have been the primary buy.
Mm-hmm. You think he would have looked more for a midfielder?
Yeah. I think he would have looked at that midfield and said it's incredibly imbalanced, and gone for Partey a year ago and Aouar possibly, or Salazar, or whatever his name is.
Sabozalai. Yes.
Yeah.
Too many consonants. Is it the same problem we had when Szczesny arrived?
Yeah. When he's here, I'm going to be like, that guy from Hungary.
Well, when I wasn't writing then or doing this, but I remember when Szczesny first came up and everybody's trying to pronounce his name and they're trying to remember how to write his name if you ever had to type it. And I just started calling him the big consonant. And and if Sabozalai came, maybe he's the little consonant. I don't know. But too many Z's and S's and K's and Y's, and Not enough vowels.
When I had to spell it, I was looking on my phone, put in the predicted text. As soon as I hit SZ, instantly come up. But I don't need to worry about that anymore.
And here we are in these stretches, right about this point in the match where things they get sleepy. It's not that I'm not going to say it's boring. It's just it seems to lack direction.
Yeah. Yeah. It just doesn't look like there's any direction. At halftime, I'd be making a raft of subs, to be perfectly honest, because you can still make 5 in the Europa League.
Mm-hmm.
And not being funny,
we're 5 away. It looks like he could use a pretty thorough turnover. I mean, where would you start in
Willian off? He's offered us absolutely nothing this game against this level of opponent. You'd think he'd offer something.
Yeah.
But there's just been nothing from him, and it's
the
annoying.
Backline hasn't had anything to worry about too much. That was just a horrible turnover in midfield, and they just got exposed. I mean, that goal wasn't anybody challenging our back three. It was just too much space in the middle of the park in front of the 18-yard box. Come on, Joe.
I'm not sure how that's not a foul. Like, he's cut inside it and the fella's shoved into the ground. Come on, Pepe.
Well, they've swapped sides about 7-8 minutes ago. See if that does anything. Hasn't so far.
No. And this, I think with Pepe at the moment, he's so bereft of confidence. Obviously, he got that goal the other day, and you'd think, yeah, he'd kick on from here. But again, wasn't selected for the win over Manchester United.
Didn't play a minute of that. I was surprised by that. I thought he might come in as a sub once they got a lead. I was very surprised by that.
Get in there. Lino. Right. Eddie scored, but Willock was offside.
Oh, yeah, I saw it. But my gosh, finally got some nice inner play here.
Surely the ref is VAR in operation. Surely it is in Europe.
He let it go. Pulled it off. Well, there was a little bit of life. Didn't work out well, but that was better.
Yeah, definitely. Pepe at the heart of that, making something happen on the wing, on his more favoured left foot. I found this referee today has let a lot go. But again, sloppy in midfield, and they're in for a shot on goal. Very, very sloppy.
Look at that. Oh. Oh. Yeah, Willock was, I don't know what he was doing. I mean, that's the kind of thing that we've beat on Xhaka for doing, and just being very sloppy in that part of the park. And
Yeah. I think the thing with Xhaka though, you don't expect it for. Well, I say you don't expect it. You do nowadays, but you shouldn't be expecting it from him because he's an established international.
True.
Come on, play him. But with Willock, you can excuse it a little bit. Get in there. Finally, we get a goal back. Saying of the man Xhaka, the man was charging the break. Was charging through there on the break. Played in Kettering. Square ball. And I think it was Willock that's bundled the player into the ball, and the ball's gone in.
It worked. I'll take it however it happens. And here we go. You know, last minute, sloppy goal.
Yeah.
Gritty goal, greasy goal, I think they call them in another sport. But timing is everything. And that's got to really, really, really help them. You would think.
That's got to be a massive kick in the teeth for them. But although, if they was to rule this out for a foul, they've got to come back to the player pulling on Willock's shirt in the first instance, and that's a red card because it can be a clear goal scoring opportunity.
Yeah.
But as it stands, it's 1-1, and we move on. We're very lucky to be at 1-1 at this moment in time.
But that's 2 in the last minute that they've wound up in the goal. So seems they're finding their legs. Probably about 30 minutes later than we would hope. But now with the score even, I think there'd be some more space for them.
If you were at Arteta at half time, would you be getting into them at half time, or would you stay composed and try and work out the game plan moving forward?
Well, it's interesting, you know, that because we do know that he does that, right? We've talked about him. Is he a vocal? Is he a taskmaster? It does seem that if they're not meeting his expectations for energy and following his directions, that he is not very shy about letting them know. He's not going to be diplomatic. And they're a young team, so maybe that's the way to go. But I don't know, Sam. They got better. They did get much better those last 5 minutes.
Yeah. For me personally, if I was in Arteta's shoes, I'd still get into them at half time, because that performance for the majority of that game, barring, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 minutes tops, was completely unacceptable. Especially, and no disrespect to Molde, but for the standard of what they are, this game should not be 1-1 at half time.
No.
And I think there's too many players that are unfortunately out there thinking, oh yeah, we'll walk this one through. And if people aren't willing to put the shift in, then maybe look at some subs at half time. Here's a question for you, Raf.
Sure.
Willian, obviously, we signed him in the summer, 3-year contract. not doing the business for what we expected him to come in and do. Is he another one in the window? Maybe summer window. Look at see who's interested in him.
Perhaps, maybe Chelsea maybe Frank Lampard wants him back. I'd sell him if he did. But I mean, I don't think they have a need for him. Once he left, I think they filled his role.
Yeah. So I mean, Ziyech is running the show for them at the moment, and that's where you'd expect Willian to be in.
But where could he go, given his age? Italy, given his age.
Italy, Spain, maybe.
That's true. He could do the business in Spain. You probably have to let him go in the same way he came, on a free.
Yeah.
And just wash your hands of his wages. But that's okay. I mean, in my opinion. And we go back to this. I think so much is we can't forget that Gabriel Martinelli's coming soon. Mm-hmm. And I think he's going to offer a massive boost. And, had he not gone down with the injury, would we be looking at him on the left, Abba in the center, and, Pepe, Willian? Let's put this, let me ask you this question, Sam. Had he not gone down with the injury, would Willian even be on the squad?
I don't think so. I don't think there'd be a need for him, personally. But
yeah,
I suppose Arteta wanted the experience in the squad, experience of somebody winning. But at what point do you think, okay, we can have the experience of somebody winning, but what are they effectively giving to a squad on a match day?
What were they looking for from him? Energy. He did great business at Chelsea. I remember he was a really good sub. That seemed to be his role. That about the 60th minute he could come in, and wherever they needed him, he could provide some energy and some push. And I was a little surprised because I don't see him as a week in, week out 90-minute man at this point.
No, and this is the thing, Raf, is that with him as well, you've got to think he was in the top 7 for top 10, at 7th for chances created at Chelsea. Mm-hmm. And if you watch him in an Arsenal shirt, you think, where's that player gone? Because it's literally shown no signs of him doing that. He seems like every time he gets the ball, he's dawdling on it. There's not that burst of pace past people. I know he's getting on a bit, but he's still in very good shape. There's just nothing, and it baffled me when we signed him, and it's baffling me even more now that he's just not producing.
Well, what is his role? I mean, we've seen him on the left, we've seen him on the right, and it seems that where he played the best was that one match where he got to play behind when Aubameyang was central, Saka was on the left, Pepe was on the right, and he was behind them in the center of the park. And I don't think we've ever seen that again from him.
No. But to be perfectly honest with you, I wasn't overly impressed with him in that game either. Obviously, the interchanging worked well, but in terms of his output, questions can still be raised around it. But I don't know. But it then goes back to the old saying: do you have 4 players that can play a multitude of positions, or do you have 1 or 2 players that specialises in a position?
Do you think? Well, Mikel wants the former, but is he losing out and again, we talked about this. That's the Liverpool model, where you have four guys with very set roles, very set places on the pitch. They know each other. They know what they're supposed to do. They know what they want to do, and they just say, "Okay, you know what's coming, but you have to adapt to me because I'm really, 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 really good at what I do."
Yeah. And I think we are losing out in that aspect a little bit, and I think that we need to have the set positions. I'm sorry, but I do. If players can't accept that they're not going to get in the team in their set position, then, you know, Arsenal's a massive club. There's millions of players out there that would love to be in their shoes.
Sure. We're seeing, though, I mean, let's take a step back, because we're about a quarter of the way through the season, almost a quarter of the way through the Prem season. Couple of matches away from that. Fair start. I think we hoped for maybe one more win, but we had a really tough stretch. Mm-hmm. We left our business till really late, especially Partey, deadline day. And we've talked over and over and over again about balance. And, this is the focus of the pod. Mikel has straightened out the defense, and this is his next obstacle. If he wants to take the next step forward, he needs to find that balance and that attack. But does he have his people? Let's start with that question. Does he have his people in the attack? He's got Willian and Aubameyang. He paid a lot of money for them.
I think with Aubameyang, yes. Willian, I want to say I'm going to go 75% yes. But I think with Pepe and Lacazette, I'd say no. Because the thing is, with Lacazette, if he was in Arteta's long-term plans, he's got, what now? 18 months left?
Yeah. Year and a half.
If he was in Arteta's long-term plans, surely Arteta would instruct the club now to start contract negotiations. And it seems I think that's very telling for me at this point in time, is that there's been no talk of contract negotiations. It looks like the club are probably say 50-50 on him, and if a club comes in that has an acceptable offer, they'd accept it, because we had Roma in the summer come in and inquire, but they didn't put down an acceptable bid. And apparently Arsenal were saying, well, you put in an acceptable bid and we'll think about it. And would open negotiations. But again, with Pepe, that's the £72 million question, isn't it?
What's your window on him? At what point do you think, okay, and this is not all on him, the manager needs to find a fit for him too. I think it takes two to tango in this one. But what's your timetable? At what point do we look at these two and say, for whatever reason, maybe it's just a bad fit, but for whatever reason, it's not working? How much more time do you give this?
To be perfectly honest with you, I'd probably say another 6 months.
Okay.
If Pepe isn't doing the business within 6 months, that leads us into the window. I wouldn't openly say that he'd be on the transfer list, but again, saying to clubs, well, if you want him, he's available, give us your bid. But then the question's got to be asked: what do you ask for Nicolas Pepe now? Considering we're still going to be in a depleted COVID market.
Well, that's where I was going with this. Might his value be? Might you look at a club with a player in a similar position where, he wants to leave? He's running down his contract. the club wants to get something from him? Are you looking for more of a swap with cash? Maybe like, okay, similar. We'll give you. Everybody knows Nicola Pepe has value, but I'm wondering if there's the swap route is going to work better with him, given how much Arsenal paid for him.
Yeah, I think that the swap would be the most likely scenario. But again, if we want to go for a highly established player, the other club realistically are in the better position, because they're saying, if you want our player, you're offering us a player that hasn't really worked out for you. How do we know he's going to work out for us? We want him plus cash. And then again, we're potentially overpaying for a player.
Right. Well,
just looking at Pepe's market value at the moment, transfermeerkat.co.uk has got him down as 36 million.
Ooh. Oh. You're already taking a bath.
Yeah. So you're taking the dip already, and
well, I think this is a matter of. I think Mikel knows that this is not the time. Even if you're entertaining the idea, I've got to sell him. And we saw this. I mean, we've seen this with so many players. We saw this with Mustafi. We saw it with some players who ended up staying. But he's got to raise value on people, and he's been good at that. And I guess that's what's puzzling, is that he's taken so many players and been able to raise their game. That it's really puzzling to me that he can't do it with this guy, who we can see the skill set, and it's just really baffling that he's not clicking.
I generally want to believe that it's down to the system. The system doesn't fit him. I really think if we were to switch to a 4-3-3, that he would have a lot more space, and if you've got a creator in the middle as well, that would really unleash him.
Question: is it down to, we know that this club is still a work in progress, and that filling that one position, we're all getting our little Christmas list together of, we had a war all picked out in the summer. And I think a lot of us think, maybe they should go back for him in January, or Szoboszlai, or people of that ilk. But is that one of those places? Is that one of those conditions where you sign one and you improve two? Because that's going to make, as you said, it's going to make Pepe's job easier and make his fit better. So I don't know. I'd like to hope so. I'd like to think so.
Yeah, same here. I think in the January window, even if we have to overpay a little bit for a creative midfielder, it's an absolute must, because you've got to think about the top four. We're not in a bad position at the moment. Some of the teams will see that they're in and around that, and they'll strengthen themselves in the January window. And I think if we're looking at really getting in there this season, because that will accelerate us a hell of a lot along the pathway. If we're able to get into that top four, a creative midfielder is a must. Because I'm sorry, Dani Ceballos doesn't do it for us.
No, he's not.
We can't lay that all on Thomas Partey. Because if there's a case that he, God forbid, and touching wood, that he gets injured, then we're back to square one.
Well, it's also the matter that if you're that close, that push, that getting those extra couple of spaces, getting into that top four pays for itself. If you're gonna, that extra money really covers, and that's why they're. How many years is now? 4 outside the top four. It's got to stop. So
absolutely, we can't go to 5 outside of the top 4. Can't do it. because then you're looking at people like Granit Xhaka that will then start entering into 2 years of their contract.
Mm-hmm.
And then you think to yourself, okay, we're not in the top 4. Is he doing the business since to get us into the top 4? The answer is no. And I think since Granit Xhaka's been here, I don't think Arsenal fell out of the top 4 since he's been here, I think.
Was he here before? I mean, he came with Wenger, but I mean, were they in the top 4 when he was here?
I think the season that he joined, we were, but therefore after, it was the season where we finished 5th. But again, personally, I don't think Granit Xhaka is built for the Premier League because he's too cumbersome and he's too slow on the ball. We need dynamic midfielders, and unfortunately, he's not.
Well, let's bring Ceballos into that discussion too. I mean, Ryan is not here with us this evening, but that's been one of his primary complaints about, when we look at Ceballos pros, but Ceballos cons is that he needs to. He's not maybe the slowest guy, but he's not the fastest either. So you need, when you have a midfield of Ceballos and Xhaka as you have today, you're not. As you said, it's all on Willock to provide the pace here. This is not a fast midfield, so they're not going to play that quote unquote old Arsenal that we fantasize about, that we became spoiled by, where they just get the ball on the counter and they just run at you. That's not what these guys do. So does Mikel still have to? He's got Partey. And he's got El Neni, who's shown he's got energy, but does that creative guy need to bring some spark, some legs, and some zip with him? When we're looking at those guys.
Yeah, but just going back to your point about Dani Ceballos not being the quickest in the midfield, we don't really need them to be the quickest. If you look at Partey, he isn't the quickest, but he's smart enough to get around because he's got that long stride. But if we was to get someone like, I don't know, one of Ryan's favourites, Isco, as the third creative, or in as the cam, he's not the quickest, but he's very smart in what he does. And going back to when we had Santi Cazorla, again, not the quickest of players, but with the amount of trickery and skill in both of his feet, he was able to get in positions where he was effective. And I'm looking at Dani Ceballos this season, and he's just not getting into positions where he's effective.
Was that last attempt a matter of Luis not knowing that Willock was right behind him, ready to tap it in?
I think so, yeah. But again, that's where players need to open their mouths and have a bit of communication. It's not like fans are there, so people can't hear each other.
True. That was a tap in that went begging there, so... And that's actually, we were complaining about it in the first half. That was actually a good pass.
Yeah. Oh my life, Ainsley. Killing players with these passes again. We come out, first 5 minutes, good. And then it's sloppy again.
Oh. Yeah, that was not a difficult one either. He was, yeah.
I think within the next 5 minutes, my subs would be Xhaka for Partey, Willian for Orba. I'd have Nketiah out on the wide right and Orba through the middle.
There you go. There's Saka, Abba, and Partey. You can do with all three of them coming in.
Probably with Saka, I'd probably take off Kolasinac.
Yeah. I don't want to take Niles off.
No.
Oh, here comes Ceballos. You know, and again, why is he playing so deep when he can do that?
Yeah.
I'm surprised that he and Xhaka just seem to be reversed in what.
Are you actually shitting me? The goalkeeper has parried the ball down to Kolasinac' feet and he's lashed it straight over the bar. It's an open goal. It's an open goal.
Gervinho class miss.
Even worse.
Oh my lord! Yes. Just stop the ball, son.
It's not even that. Just don't need to get any power on it. Just pass it.
He could have just stopped the ball and just chipped it in.
Even just toe punt it, for Christ's sakes.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
Oh my gosh. They've had two really good chances here in these first 6 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. They are playing better. They are creating chances here.
Yeah, finally.
But this is, again, this goes back to a discussion we've had, or maybe we need to have it more. They're still too ABBA dependent.
Yeah.
Who else is going to finish? You know, Eddie.
He's a work in progress.
He's a very much aware. Thank you. He's not the finished product. He's not somebody you can say, okay, he's gonna get us the goal. He's not there yet.
This goes back to my argument that I suggested in the summer transfer window just gone. Get an established striker in and send him out on loan. So I think with Eddie, he needs a Premiership loan. A place where he's going to be playing week in, week out. But right now, for what Arsenal are trying to achieve, I'm sorry, he's not the one for us at the moment.
And now suddenly Ceballos this half. I wonder if that was one of the things Mikel said in the first at halftime was, Danny, step up, you know, because he's really been aggressive, playing higher up the pitch. He's really pushing the ball when he gets it on his feet. Yeah,
and this is the Danny Ceballos this half that Arsenal fans want to see, not the Danny Ceballos of the first half where he's deep and not involved. He needs to be involved constantly. But again, going back to the point that I think you raised against Manchester United or Leicester. No, against Leicester, sorry. He's again, he's playing extremely wide.
Yeah. I would think he'd be more forward and central. They found some energy here.
I'm just reading one of my group chats and someone has literally said, I think I'd rather have Andre Santos than Kolasinac.
Oh my gosh. They're really down in Kolasinac today.
Is it bad that I kind of agree with them?
Wow. Well, I mean, he is a player that needed to go, that needs to go.
But if we lose Kolasinac in the January window, do we need another left back? Or do you switch Cedric out there?
Well, you can always use Niles back there too.
True.
I mean, you have Saka and Niles who can play there for you. And there's certainly kids that need. I mean, I don't want to overload them and say you're going to play 5 different positions now, but they would also, I think, would want time.
Yeah.
So it's more minutes for both of them. Although with Saka, I really want him to play forward.
Yeah, I think that he definitely.
But Niles is definitely, he's playing on the wings. He's playing a more midfield defensive position. So, come on, is that a corner? Pepe, you're ahead of me. You already know what happened here.
Be interesting to hear the people following his opinion on.
Let's see what
around the 60th minute now. What subs would people be thinking? Because as I said, I'd have Kolasinac off, Willian off, and who was the other one that I said? Oh yeah, Granit Xhaka. I'd have him off and all.
Keep the kids on. Oh, Xhaka. Kolasinac is getting some real stick for that miss.
Quite rightly, quite
again,
rightly. That was astonishing.
Come on, boys! You had 10 good minutes. Don't sag here. Keep the pressure on.
I'm not being funny. We need something to happen. We need a goal just to try and kill this game off now. Because I think if we get one more, I'd hope the floodgates would open up, and then we wouldn't have to risk Orba. I'd risk Lacquer in this game.
Molde's in this position now where it looks like they might be thinking, okay, we had a lead, but we lost it. So now we've got a point in hand. Let's just pack it in.
Oh, get him. Another goal. Lovely jubbly.
Well, there you go. You just ask. All you have to do is ask for it. Ask for it and they give it to you.
It's another own goal by the looks of things. Let me have a look at this. We'll look at the heart of it. Out to Willian. Back into Willock.
Okay. It was. He had it going on goal. Did it just deflect off a defender?
Yeah, he's put it across the box for Eddie or Pepe. Defenders tried to clear it, made an absolute hash out of it. Good team goal, though. Oh, wow, that's terrible.
Oh, there it is. Yes, I didn't see that foot stick out.
Unfortunately for them, it was their substitute that come on and stuck it in the back of the net.
Well, however it goes, it goes.
Yeah. So at the moment, it's if we're going on goal scored, Molde 3.
Molde 3-0. They put 3 in the goal. We had one waved off.
Yeah.
We did put 1 in the goal. And Joe got in the wrong place.
Yeah. And we've made 2 subs. Cedric on for Maitland-Niles and Willian off, Saka on. So Saka's gone to the left wing, Pepe out to the right wing, and Cedric has just taken over from Maitland-Niles in the fullback. Realistically, though, with what have we got left in the Europa games? 3 games remaining.
Yeah, this is one tour through the group, right?
Mm.
So one more win, and you just kind of.
Would
I don't know what the standings are what are the standings? They're going to have 9 points. What's second place?
Let me double check.
Is there anybody else with say 6 points, or is it all just hashed out?
I think Rapid Vienna and Dundalk drew earlier on today. I think that was a 2-2 draw, unless it changed in the last minutes. Oh no, Rapid won 4-3. Bloody hell, high score in that one.
All right, well, let's get a third here. Let's make it comfortable.
So as it stands, we'd be on 9 points. Molde would be on 6. Rapid Vienna would be on 3. And Dundalk on 0. Realistically, all we need is a draw in the next game. We're through.
Yeah, but I think if he gets one more win, I think he can just go all to the kids for the next 2 matches.
Yeah.
And use all of his energy to push up the table in the Prem. Because that's very doable too. I mean, there's so many teams just all clotted within 2 points of each other.
Yeah. And I think as we discussed on at the end of Tuesday's pod, if we get a big win over Aston Villa, that puts us right in the mix of top 4 moving into the international break. And then it's just a case of hoping that that injuries don't strike.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, Cedric's actually got a bit of pace about him. Come on, boy. But you know what? I've just seen instantly with Cedric coming on, driving at the centre-back, that allowed Pepe to come in, although he didn't hit the shot well enough to come in and unleash the shot.
But you've been saying that all year, is that one of the problems is again, he's not getting consistent minutes, but he needs somebody who will work with him. And even Hector's not consistent with him, but when he has that fullback who works the overlap with him, and is that a byproduct, Sam, of them playing so much 3 at the back that the wing backs are not really working in that way with him? Is that another benefit that would come from a 4-3-3? Is that then you would have Hector and Cedric really working in tandem with him?
Yeah, I believe so. Because the wing backs of a three, they tend to come majorly inside when we're attacking to bolster out that midfield.
And so they're going where he wants to go, right?
Yeah. And if you know, and again, we're always down the left hand side. We're very rarely down the right.
Yeah.
Oh, Saka in the box. Pulled it back. Pepe, lovely jubbly, great finish.
Oh, okay. They got back, but I'm behind you, but it was very nervy with Mustafi getting run there.
Yeah.
His lack of pace is noticeable, shall we say.
Honestly, if somebody comes in January and signs him on the Bosman, I'd say to him, give us $1 million, $2 million, you can have him now.
Yeah, just get his wages off the books. There's those Christmas tops sound. Talking to me. Every time I see him on the screen, it's like, you want one of these, don't you? You know you do. You like them, don't you? It's just Adidas reaching their hand into my wallet again.
I know. Because they've got a bit of a Fendi, the designer Fendi vibe to them as well, haven't they? And it's just like, I can't afford this on top of everything else. Got to buy presents for others, not for myself.
You just given me an idea, and I don't know who we would contact. I would love to have somebody on the pod who works with Adidas in their design department. Talk about how they make all these clothes, all these lines. That would be an episode.
That would be epic.
I'm going to write that down. I don't know who we would talk to, but because I mean, they've just outdone themselves this year.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. And if you compare us to other Adidas teams that they've got in the Premier League, so Wolves, Manchester United, our stuff is just well on top of theirs. Better.
Yeah, and then when they united with that strange the zebra. Say again? Oh, Adidas on LinkedIn. You got me a link, Lee? I mean to mute myself. It's okay. We can share the making of the sausage with the listeners.
Yeah.
So yeah. I mean, I'm sure they would want it. See that, hear that. God, if we had video capability, I'd love them to take us through, like, if there's somebody in the city who like works on designs and has, drawings, and talk me through the process. How do they do all this? What kind of choices they make? Because there are choices this year of, primary colors, secondary colors, designs, everything is
fantastic.
Yeah.
Just getting back to the game now. There's been multiple occasions where Leno is getting so frustrated with people in front of him not closing the ball down and them having long range shots. But now that we're 3-1 up, it hasn't been the most prettiest of games. But if we can scrape through games like this until January, I'd be more than happy. Until you can get a real creator.
Let's talk about it. We're going to get a creator. But here's another question for January. Who goes out? Mustafi, we just talked about. Right?
Mustafi, Kolasinac. But then you still got the question.
Oh, Cedric, don't get hurt.
And I really don't want to talk about him. You still got Ozil.
Yeah.
Well, haven't you?
What about Lacazette? If somebody in say Italy or one of these other leagues is making a push for a cup, and they come to you, you sell him?
Yeah. Even if it's a 18-month loan with obligation. No, just an 18-month loan just to get his wages off the books.
Yeah, just say they look at them, they say, hey, we have a chance at Champions League, we have a chance at winning domestic cup, you know. I'm with you. I think he's blocking other people. Yeah.
And I'll tell a lie, if an Italian club come in for an 18-month loan of him, they've got to give us quite a hefty loan fee, as essentially a transfer fee, pay the wages on top, and structure the bonuses to say, okay, if you qualify for Europa League, it's X amount. If you qualify for Champions League, it's even more, you know. But yeah, agree with you. For me, Lacazette has just got to come off the books at Arsenal because he's, as you say, he's blocking space.
Yeah.
And I know with Lacazette, he's a decisive player against, not against, throughout the fan base, because some people love him and what he does. Others, and I'll happily put my hand up and say I'm in this section of fan, is that I'm not happy with how unclinical he is. He doesn't really assist much. He wastes his energy in wrong areas. Again, whether that's down to instruction or off his own doing, I don't know. But for me, I want a striker in the middle of the pitch that's going to be clinical, that's going to be our outball, that can come deep, can then play a quick 1-2 and then spin off behind. You know,
what surprises me about him, given his stature, he's not the tallest guy, is his lack of pace. I think somebody of that build should have lightning pace, and maybe he did. I think he's a guy who's lost his top gear.
I think that ankle injury that done him, when was it, at the Emirates Cup? I think he done his ankle in.
Yeah.
And then he's had a few injuries around his ankles as well. So I think that's just curtailed him. And obviously he's what now? He's 28?
28?
29?
I want to say. I'm going to take a look. I'll do it on my phone so I can keep looking at the match here. He's not that young. He's not that old, but he's
29.
Not that young. 29. Yeah. See, I never really need to look to. It's time. It's time. Again, wages. He's still got the third highest. Well, Partey might have the third highest now, but top 4 wages on the books.
Yeah.
Time to move that on.
Yeah, because what is it? It's in around the region of 120,000 a week.
Yeah, 120, 140. It's a lot. So,
yeah, for me that needs to come off the books. Because if you think about that type of wage, can you get a better striker, a younger striker? Absolutely.
Oh, yeah. For maybe half of his wage.
Yeah.
Probably even less than that. Right?
Yeah.
Especially if he's a young kid. Hypothetically, you know, he's on 140. Let's say you went out after Odsonne Edouard. He maybe cost you 70. You might get him for less.
But again, that is a price that you'd be willing to do.
Sure. And given where he is, again, I don't need the highest. They pushed for a big fee because I think they thought they could work something with Atletico as part of a Partey deal or some make weight. But
yeah,
now you just have to look. I think your sales expectations have to lower because he's 18 months away from running out his contract.
I think if a bid of 25 million come in for Lacazette, I'd be taking it.
I would agree. I would agree with you.
What's his market value right now?
Because they were saying 35. I don't think they can ask that anymore. Although, to his credit, he's had a good start. He's got a lot of goals.
Yeah,
So,
true. Well, his market value is 37 million.
okay.
So I might revise my
Even with COVID.
yeah.
Ah. Okay.
Yeah. I'll revise that actually. I would take I think 35's fair. Maybe push 40.
Who would bite though? We're saying Italy, we're saying Spain. Who would you have any clubs come to mind that would be
AC Milan, I think.
they still have money. That they have new ownership, or it's Roma that has new ownership.
Roma have new ownership. AC Milan are resurgent. So whether they want to push in for him.
Yeah, and they're another club that's, again, they've been out of the top four. They've lived for there. They've won a lot of titles, they had a lot of Champions League success, and they're kind of like Arsenal. They've been 5 or 6 years away. So maybe they were willing to pay to get back in, speed that up.
Yeah. 2 more subs for Arsenal. El Neni on for... Who's he on for?
For Danny, I think.
Yeah, Danny Ceballos. And Tierney in for Xhaka.
I got to say, after scratching my head about Danny Ceballos in the first half, he had a good second half.
Yeah, I agree with that. He was a lot more aggressive. He was further up the pitch, which benefits him. His tenacity. It works a lot more.
And he uses skills, dribbling past people. So...
Oh, we've got the ball in the back of the net, but again, the offside flag is up again.
I'll share this with you.
Let's have a look at this.
Lee went, while you and I were chatting, he went on LinkedIn. He found a creative director at Adidas.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Cedric put the ball across. Unfortunately, Saka was quite away offside.
Okay.
Unfortunate.
This is better though. This is what they should have been doing in the first 20 minutes. They could have put the match away. Oh,
most definitely.
Way offside.
Most definitely. But again, I think it's credit to the players that have come on, have given that energy boost, because they're the players that are willing to get in and around the opposition and willing to drive forward. It's our second string, unfortunately, is just far too flat. Oh, that's a boot in the face. That's a red. It's a dangerous play, surely. Oh, no. No, sorry, that weren't a boot in the face. Player shoved Tierney well into Leno's shoulder there.
Oh, good. Well, I'll see. Just don't hurt yourselves at this point, gentlemen. You got 3 points in the bank.
But going through the second half, since Cedric's come on, Pepe seemed a lot more. He seemed to have a lot more life in him.
Yeah.
He knows that Cedric's going to go outside. See how postman turn up.
And that's what he needs, somebody who will work with him. But when he doesn't get that, he gets pushed outside, and that's not his game, and that's not what he wants. He wants to cut inside and get the ball on his left foot, and he'll score or he'll set somebody up. When he works with Aubameyang, he's really good at that. But he needs some help out there, and doesn't always get it.
No, and when he was at Lille, the fullback that he was playing with, can't remember his bloody name. He was always on the overlap.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about. I don't remember his name either. That was close.
Jeremy Plead, I want to say. Pied.
Yeah, who's got something good for you once the match is over.
What's that?
Oh, just some election news here for the States.
Ah.
Well, they really haven't been fussed this half. That's probably the best chance they had right there.
Yeah. And although in the first half it was extremely sloppy, we've been relatively tight second half. It's just a case of we really need to start the first half.
Better.
First half,
I agree. I agree. Seven more minutes. All right, boys, 5 more minutes. Keep it tidy. Now, who's the next? It's Villa, right? This weekend?
Yep, Villa on Sunday. And lucky for us, it's a late game Sunday.
Good.
So it gets a couple of hours resting. Oh, should have scored that, Willock.
And then international break, right?
Yes. 2 weeks.
They could really use one of these breaks where most of their people stay home and just say where they get the medics to say these guys need to rehab, and just tell the national teams not this time.
Yeah. Well, the England squad got announced, and Saka and Maitland-Niles have made the squad.
Are they playing away? Are they playing?
Not overly sure, but we've just got another goal here. Joe Willock, 4-1 Arsenal now.
He's been flirting with a goal all this match.
Yeah, and I think
there we go.
What's that for him now? 2-2 in Europe.
Oh, that's 2. Yeah, he scored the last match. That's 2-2. The last 2. You're right. He scored last week. It was the second goal.
Smart movement there from him as well. Didn't rest on his laurels. See the ball go in instantly.
You can see Mikel looking at who's his assistant, Steve Rounded, saying, "Where has that been?" Like, why weren't we doing that in the first half? That was that was really smart. They spaced out. Their spacing is really good here.
Just another point as well. Goal and assist for Pepe.
Yeah. Eddie pulling it wide shows the second man through. It's just beautiful. It was. That's his shot. He just grazes the crossbar, just kisses it when it goes in. Gets the keeper down and just says, "Okay, just watch it go."
But you know what will happen? Come Villa, Pepe will be on the bench. You've had to go on assist in Europe. Sit down.
You might be right, and I don't understand that. You think that he's got a goal, he's got an assist. So like, let him build on that.
Yeah.
Because correct me if I'm wrong, but he strikes me as a streak player. Get him on a streak. He's hot.
Absolutely.
And as you've said, it's confidence with him. I think it's a big part of it, and he's got to be feeling confident because he too has scored in his last two Europa matches, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And again, working well in the middle of the park. Just give him a chance to come inside, and really good things happen with Nico Pepe.
Yeah. And that's the type of areas where you need him, because as I've just said, you need the overlapping fullback with Pepe so that he's got that split second to work his magic in, because it only takes a split second for him. Eddie got that one all wrong.
Another guy, give him a loan, let him play every week. He'll be so much better when he comes back. He just needs work. Consistent, like you said, some of these guys need just consistent minutes. Now that's tough. That got deflected, so. Oh, it's only 2 minutes. Thank goodness. We should see more of this, Sam, where you get a match that's like this. Oh, we're just going to have 2 minutes of every time. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
You never see that in the Prem. It's always 3 at the minimum.
3 minimum. Yeah. Maximum 5.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, dude.
I'm going to try to contact this guy and say, hey, even if he wants to do a phone interview, love to have him on the pod, but even if we just got a voice interview,
yeah,
I would love to pick their brains on we just love everything they do.
Absolutely.
I love this man's jacket. I don't know what that is. It's not an Adidas, but wow. Talking about Mikel.
Yeah. Get into his press conference, go.
Where do you shop? That's right. I have one question for you, Skipper. Where do you shop?
Please don't let it be designer for the regular man shop. There we have it. 4-1 Arsenal. Lovely. 3 points. Not Nobody the best of games.
No, but
a lot of goals.
Good. Pepe again, build his confidence up. Get him 90 minutes. Go to the top of the group. This one right here. It wouldn't surprise me. That's an Armani jacket. He's such a clothes horse.
Oh, that's such a nice jacket.
He should get it. He should have his own line. All right, final thoughts, Sam, on this match. As we said, kind of sloppy. Second half was much better.
Yeah, I think first half was very slow. I think that's something that Arsenal and Mikel needs to work out and get to the real answers, especially in the Europa League. We're always starting very slow, and for me, that's something that seriously needs work, because worst case scenario, we can be caught maybe 2 goals down in the first half of some of these games, and if you're 2 goals down in the first half, then that's very hard to come back from, and that can shatter somebody's the team's confidence. But ultimately, we held in there. We had a good 5 minutes towards the end of the half. Had a goal chalked out wrongfully for offside, in my opinion, because it wasn't Joe Willock that got the touch. It was Eddie Nketiah who was clearly onside. But Joe Willock come charging through the middle of the pitch on the counter attack, made the defender make the mistake. So we went in 1-1. I think that really dented Molde's confidence.
Yeah.
Second half for us was very comfortable, I believe. And I think that it showed in the performance, although, again, not overly great, but with the substitutions that come on, they provided that real energy and that real spark that was needed within the team. Gave us a bit more creativity, and the goals flowed in from there. Obviously, I think for us, the introduction of Cedric was very important because that managed to unleash Pepe to do what he needed to do. A bit of a mixed bag from him today, but ultimately goal and assist. He'll probably be coming off full of confidence after that. Very happy with that goal and assist. But I think man of the match today, I would probably give that to Joe Willock.
Okay. I'm going to give it to Nico Pepe. Again, I'm pulling so hard for him to find his way into the squad and be a regular on Prem match days. And so every positive, every optimistic performance, goal, assist, play, just cross my fingers for him. So, all right. Quick thoughts going into Villa. He didn't have to push any of his important players to that match very much today. Obviously, we're going to expect a much stronger lineup there. Do you think he's going to go a little more expansive, since Villa's back line has really kind of fallen apart these last couple of matches? Might we see more of a 4-3-3, a more aggressive look, or is he going to just stay with his trusty 3-4-3, in your opinion?
I would hope so. That we'd see a 3-4, not 3-4-3. Don't want to be seeing a 3-4-3. Want to see for a 4-3-3. Because with that as well, I think that we can still have a fluid formation. If we want to go aggressive, we can still go to a 4-2-4, really push on to them. Obviously, Lacazette, Partey, Aubameyang, they all had a rest tonight, which is brilliant. Much needed for them. I think if we can go into that game, be on the front foot, I think that we can really, really knock Villa for a big scoreline, because their back line is so fragile at the moment. Obviously, their danger man is Jack Grealish, but if we keep him quiet and close down the passing avenues to him, he'll try and drift inside. But again, if he does that, you make the inside congested so that he doesn't have anything to go to. If we nullify him, I don't think Villa have got much else. Like, they've got, don't get wrong, they've got good players in McGinn, Ross Barkley in the middle, He might be quite a thorn in the backside because he offers them quite a bit at the moment. He's really expressing himself at Villa, but I think that we've got more than enough. Obviously, Ollie Watkins is a quick striker, but he hasn't come up against anybody of quality, especially in quality of Gabriel Magalhaes. So yeah, I really do think we've got Villa in the bag. I'll probably say that, and it'll probably be a nervy 1-0 win, but I'm just hoping everything clicks and it'll be a 5-6. Do I want to go up to 8? Might go up to 8.
So eager for a match like that. Just one where you're just sitting back and smiling and saying, here they are. This is what we've been waiting for. Quick, final word, because we always ponder who's in the middle. What are they going to do? Right? We know Partey is going to be there. We probably know that El Neni is going to be there. Who's the third wheel going to be? Is Dani Ceballos, again, given more freedom to go forward in this second half, look really good? Might he get his chance with Partey, figure El Neni behind them if they're going 4-3-3 to kind of stay in the middle of the park and push and do what he did so well in this second half today?
Yeah, I hope so. That would be my midfield if we're going for 4-3-3. El Neni at the base, Partey, again, them two working on the string within 5 yards of each other, and then Ceballos to be the one to be the aggressor in the final third and trying to string them passes in. But having said that, for his third man running and his display today, I would possibly, it'd be a toss-up between him and Willock for me. That's not a bad option.
That you mentioned it, yeah.
But I think if we're going down that route, if dependent on the substitutions, some substitutions need to be like for like in that formation. And if Ceballos starts but isn't doing it, or we need a bit more dynamic running in the midfield, then yeah, I'll swap him out for Willock. But yeah, it's definitely something that'll be interesting to see how Arteta deploys on Sunday. But I think that we've got more than enough for Villa.
Okay, and we all look forward to it. We probably have a post-match kind of chat and breakdown. So again, we look forward to seeing you then. Follow us here at Sports Talkline. We'll give you notice. Also follow us on Twitter, Saved by the Bellerin, on Twitter at SBTB what is it? SBTB net pod. Of course, it's a pod. SBTB pod. And again, we look forward to another match. Your company, your comments. Bring more comments, bring more questions. We love chatting with you. But again, good night for the Arsenal. And on that happy note, 4-1 Sam. For Sam, I'm Raphael. We're working on. We're getting our man Ryan back. He's coming. We all want to share him with you. So anyway, good night for the Arsenal. Good night.